Well, what's happening, guys? Thought I'd tell a quick story before I get back to work here. So, Top Rank this weekend, they fly us out to Oklahoma, to Tulsa, Oklahoma, for some fights out there. And how this kind of works is MMA's always had their own cut man, typically, that work for the show. A lot of the time in the past, boxers will bring their own cut man. The whole pandemic thing kind of changed that. They wanted least amount of people that they could bring in to the venue. So I mean, I was working for Top Rank last year in world title fights, and you'd see less than 30 people maybe in the room. So anyway, that's kind of how boxing's starting to slowly kind of adapt house cut man for some of their shows. So brings me to my story. So I fly out to Tulsa. I'm working the blue corner. My buddy Mike Basil is working the red corner. I substitute for Stitch when he's out on the West Coast, and then my buddy Paul V usually covers stuff on the East Coast. So they bring us out. I got the blue corner, wrapping hands. One of the managers of one of the fighters, a tough Mexican kid. Now he's kind of a gatekeeper. He's 11 wins, 15 losses, but he's one of those guys that he's going to test you. He's in there with a kid, and I'm guessing his record was maybe 12-2. So he was obviously, my kid was on the B side of the card, right? But he was going to test this kid, and I could tell he was tough. So manager comes up and says, listen, this guy doesn't have a coach. I'm his manager. I'm out here with him. You know, can you corner him? Because he doesn't have a coach out here with him. So I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I mean, I'll, do my best. I don't know anything about the kid. I don't know anything about the opponent. But I'm going to tell him basic stuff. I think it was a 6, maybe it was an 8-round fight. I'm going to tell him double his jab. I'm going to tell him, to step away from the guy's right hand, and I'm going to tell him to stay in the center of the ring. Basic stuff, right? So she says, oh, by the way, he doesn't speak any English. Oh, this is going to be fun. But I have somebody here that can interpret for you. Now, this guy doesn't know anything about boxing, but he does speak Spanish. So you tell him, he'll tell the kid in the corner. All right, why not? Hey, I'm up for an adventure and a good story, right? So he goes out there, tough kid, man. I gave him a little instruction before the fight. This is, let's stay away from the guy's right hand, stay in the center, right? Off those, don't ride the ropes, basic stuff, right? Again, I don't know his opponent. I don't know him. Goes out there. He did pretty well the first round, but then he hurt his right arm, his elbow. I don't know what he did. I thought maybe he caught a shot, or he might have extended it and the guy hit his elbow, and now he can't throw his right hand. All right, this is going to be... So at this point, let's just see if we can just get this guy through the fight, man. Let's just see if we can get him through the fight. So he goes out there and he boxes, man. He boxes with one hand, kind of like what we saw from Gary Russell Jr. the other day, right? Except it's his jab that's okay, but his right hand, obviously Russell was left-handed. It was the opposite stance, right? So kid goes out there and we got through the fight. I mean, he got to the end, and I had ice on his elbow in between rounds. And about the 12th round, he started throwing his right hand again. It started to kind of, maybe it was numbing up, or maybe whatever had happened. The endorphins are kicking in, and he's not feeling it. So he kind of started chucking him. So I tell him in the last round, I say, listen, man, as far as a decision goes, that boat has sailed. We're not getting a decision. Let's go out there and let's try to stop this guy, man. You got to go to the body, and then you got to come back up, and maybe you can catch him. He went out there, he gave it a good shot, man, but he lost a decision. But he got all the way to the end of the fight. For me, not knowing Spanish, not knowing his opponent, not knowing anything about the kid I was in the corner with, I felt like that was a victory that he had got. He went the whole 6 rounds. He went the whole 8 rounds with an A-side fighter, and he finished the fight, man. He finished the fight at the end. He wasn't busted up. He did the best he could with what he had, and I thought that should be applauded. So I wish I could tell you the kid's name. It's on a piece of paper. It's a long name, Maybe it's better I don't say his name anyway. Maybe if you guys saw the fight, you know who I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah. So this weekend, guys, I got my kid Malverde fights out of Team Fisticuffs, fighting on the Thurman Barrios undercard. He's 4-0, 4 knockouts. We're fighting a kid, Leo Santa Cruz's kid, who's 3-0, and I think he has a draw. So this is going to be a real competitive fight. We know what we're in there with, but I don't think they know what they're in there with. This kid's like a 2 or 3 time national champion. Malverde's won the nationals 4 times. It's going to be a good fight, man. I hope you guys turn in. Malverde Gonzalez versus Anthony Cuba. All right, guys. Till the next story.